San Francisco. Fareed, welcome to the Savage Nation.
Yes, hello. Thanks, Michael. I just wanted to say that firstly, I listen to your show regularly, and I'm a moderate Muslim in America, and I think that you're one of the most, let's say, honest first people in the media today. The one thing I wanted to comment on is that with respect to moderate Muslims, they feel under tremendous pressure in the U.S. and in general in Europe as well. And that is because obviously of what the radical guys are doing. And what I just wanted to say to you is that, you do talk about radical Islam on your show frequently, is to kind of distinguish that from the kind of mainstream normal Muslims living in America who are kind of normal people.
Listen, you don't have to sell me on that, because I know a few people who are of Islamic tradition, practicing the Muslim religion, if you want to put it to that, the Islamic religion. But there's a differential. I bet you're a little older, Fareed.
Yes.
I'm sorry, what are you, in your 50s?
Yeah, I'm in my 50s.
That's what I'm saying. You see, you come from another generation that was not radicalized. But there's a whole generation of converts to Islam who have been converted by Wahhabi preachers who are preaching revolution. You cannot preach the overthrow of a government. You cannot preach bomb, and kill, and yet you know and I know it's going on. And you, by the way, you, as a man in the middle, which is what you really are here, are under greater pressure than we non-Muslims are, to put it in those terms.
Yes, I would agree with you on that, Michael. And, what I would simply say to you is that there are a lot of people in the Muslim community who are absolutely fed up with what the throwbacks are doing.
Oh, God bless you. Absolutely. Look, Fareed, I've tried to say that over and over again. For many, many years, there were Muslims in America who not only didn't try to overthrow the government, not only didn't try to drag the country into the 9th century, but were just like everybody else, but they just had a different religion. They went about their business, much as Jews do, much as Hindus do, Buddhists do. No one, heard from them. You know what I'm saying? They practiced their religion. Now all of a sudden we have this virulent America hatred coming into the mosques, and you know where it's coming from. I'm sure you see it around you, and you don't know what to do about it.
You see, the issue is, Michael, what has happened is, unfortunately, that in a lot of the preacher community, particularly in some of the Muslim countries as well, a lot of the very uneducated people went into and became preachers. And
yes. Oh, absolutely. These are the dolts who can hardly read themselves. They read one book, the Quran, and they think that they're geniuses. And they believe in the self-sufficiency of the book, the Quran. They're living in the 7th or 8th century. They're throwbacks. Not only are they a threat to the Western world, they're a threat primarily to guys like you. You're under a greater threat than I am, because you're in the direct line of fire.
Absolutely. And what I would say is that there is...
Hold on. Fareed, this is very important for my audience to hear. It's all tied to the demand for cheap labor. That's what it is. Make no mistake about it. The people running the factories want cheap labor. Unfortunately, they're creating economic strife as well as economic advantage. And the economic strife and the social strife and religious strife are very serious side effects of the primary disease called illegal immigration.
To continue, Michael, I'm just saying that also with respect to, for example, the Middle East issue, the view of a lot of moderate Muslims, particularly in America as well as Europe, is that there should be peace with Israel at the sooner rather than later. And I can tell you that there are a lot of people, even in the Middle East, in countries which are, let's say, the moderate countries, who are pursuing an initiative. Even as we speak, we have the Foreign Minister of Israel in Washington this week. We also have the National...
Well, let me say this. Let me say this on that issue. There are many other issues other than the Middle East that are agitating the world. For example, Muslims at war with their Hindu neighbors over Kashmir. Muslims at war with their Philippine neighbors over the Philippine Islands. The Muslim problem with Russia. Nothing to do with Israel, but, value-wise, Fareed, I will bet that you raised your family in a very similar manner to how I raised. I bet your family values are similar to mine.
Absolutely, absolutely. They're exact similar. And I tell you, Michael, that I personally feel at the end of the day that it should be a value-driven society. It should be driven by the highest common denominator. In other words, the principles of love, tolerance, goodness are universal.
Yes, but you're a classically educated man. It doesn't really matter what your religion is. You understand tolerance. You hit the nail on the head earlier when you said many of these imams are throwback little old men with dirty beards who are illiterates, who latched onto a Quran and suddenly made themselves into holy men. They're the people trying to pull the world back into the 7th or 8th century, where they are something important. They oppress women. They oppress other races. They live for bloodthirstiness. They live for murder. They live for oppression. And I don't know how to stop them other than to say it's only the middle-of-the-road Muslim who can do it. I know it's putting a big burden on you. The government here could do a lot more by banning this kind of preaching in mosques. They could stop it yesterday. I mean, if they get a priest getting up saying kill Muslims, they would stop him, and they should. If some priest got up and said go blow up Muslims, they should stop the man. That's not freedom of religion. That should never be protected speech. But if it's going on in a mosque, it shouldn't be off bounds for them to close that mosque down and deport the imam. And that's the only thing that could save the country. Fareed, let me send you a gift, a new copy of The Political Zoo.
Savage.